Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of this here Bachelor Nation News, and I've got some stories to get to today. Going to be very busy here. Lots to talk about. Katie Thurston claps back at some TikTok commenters. She describes what it means to have been the Bachelorette and how, I don't want to say she said she bit off more than she could chew, but she obviously understood that she couldn't have possibly prepared for what was to come. So we'll read her comments and then a TikTok from the, I wanted to call them the commitment crew. I keep forgetting their name there. The quarantine crew, what are they called there? The controversial crew. I'll play their TikTok, and then at the end I've got a special graphic for you guys, which you're going to love. So happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and whatever holiday you celebrate. I had a fail today. I put this nice elf shirt on I got there at this small mom and pop shop called Walmart's. You got to pluralize it. Walmart's. And I didn't realize that I was going to have to be battling my green screen, so I had to put the old denim on just to help out there. All right, let's get into today's video. Of course, as you know, we have been staying up to date on the toy drive. We're at 95%. $9,500 has been raised for children all across the country that could use your help and my help. I'm going to put $200 onto that pot, so that'll get up to $9,700. And then, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get to $15,000. What do you say, folks? Let's hit 10,000 by the end of the day. How about that? Let's do it by Men Tell All tonight. I'll be doing a 1-hour pre-episode live stream before Men Tell All. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, which means 6 p.m. West Coast. So I'll do a 5 p.m. West Coast, 8 p.m. Eastern live stream. 1 hour, we'll talk about things. And also, I will share with you guys on my vlog about my conversation with Hannah Brown. Now, this was a private event that took place at the Hollywood Improv. I did stand-up comedy, and then she and I got to answer some of the audience's questions. I will share some never-before-seen clips of this on my vlog today, Dave Neal Vlogs, during Vlogmas. As you know, I'm doing Christmas-themed vlogs every single day, which means I'm waking up at about 5 a.m. every day because it's a ton of work. So thanks to all the people that have been watching the Christmas vlogs. They're tons of fun. I'm going to share the behind-the-scenes of this, and there's a special announcement from Hannah. So stick around, watch that on Dave Neal Vlogs. And if you want to know how it all actually went down, the God honest truth, I will share that today at noon Pacific time for a special lunchtime live stream on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Dave Neal, and that'll be a private live stream for all of those members that subscribe. I will share with you guys exactly what went down, my thoughts about it all. All right, so let's get into this. We have several clips from Katie here. The first one, she reshared it looks like John Hersey's going to second base on her. He is not. If you zoom out, I think he's holding her hand. But either way, John and her, of course, are the new it couple. That's going to trigger some of you guys. The new it couple in Bachelor Nation. Of course, the couple that some of you guys didn't want there to be, but they are there, and they're putting their relationship out there, and they are rightfully allowed to do so. And you can unfollow them if you don't like it, or me, for that matter. But why would you do that? We're just doing the Lord's work here. The Lord's got to look out for Katie and John here. So she wrote, "For the past week, I've been with friends or family. I'm exhausted. John is now at work. Alana, Chris, and Anna have left the building, and it's now me and Tommy and the sound of absolutely nothing. As social as I am, I'm excited for me time." How funny would it be if she's like, "I'm excited for me time. Let's just go on YouTube." And then all of a sudden she sees my video and she's like, "Dang it, Dave, what are you doing?" All right. So she responded to some TikTok comments here. Let's read them. "So did you fall in love before or after your engagement was called off? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark." Katie goes, "Always loved him as my best friend. Then one day I looked at him and saw him differently. Like Cupid to the heart, I knew it. I was hit." You know what makes my life very, calm is I take people for their word. Katie's never lied to us, right? She's never lied to us. She just pursued a relationship with Blake. It didn't work out. And then immediately, from our lens, weeks after, pursued a relationship with John. I come in my relationship, my 8-year-long relationship with my fiance, having developed a friendship with her. While we were not emotionally connected, we were pursuing other people. And then after that friendship got to a certain place and we had both been single, something did click in our brains where we did realize, hey, we're single, we're friends, we kind of do like each other. Maybe we love each other. Maybe this is love. Who knows what love is, right? So I totally can empathize with that scenario being possible. I feel like it's either happened to you or it hasn't, but it's definitely a scenario. And to respond to a lot of the haters, I think what people hate is that she put her relationship on social media, but like that's what made her become the Bachelorette in the first place, her sort of unconditional conversation with her audience. Why are you trying so hard to convince us? She said, I think it's called the honeymoon stage. Sorry, not sorry. And to John's credit, he said the reason they came out with their relationship is because, and I'm not saying it was right or wrong the way they delivered the news, but he said the reason they came out with their relationship so early on is because they didn't want people to speculate if they saw them at a coffee shop or holding hands or this, that, and the other. So instead they're like, look, we're just going to call it what it is, which is dangerous because some relationships fizzle very quickly. Sometimes it's it runs its course, not saying that's going to be the case with them, but I mean, who the hell knows? Joy says, I love this for you. 4 times exclamation mark. Or is that 5? I think it's 5. I don't know why they never showed too much screen time between the two of you. And then everyone's like, Doy. She voted him out. Katie goes, it would have never worked on TV. We had 6+ months of a friendship that showed me who he is as a person. So, and you do wonder about this, how many times good guys don't get a chance on the show because there's so many guys. She's got to make decisions, and it's like six-pack ab, nice deltoids, cute butt, that guy can kiss. It's like, obviously, it's got to be tough. There's guys that slip through the cracks, as it were. Why did you agree to be the Bachelorette when it seems like you didn't really want to be? No hate, love your authenticity. Honest question. She wrote, you never know what to expect until you're there. Even as a longtime fan, I thought I knew what I signed up for. I didn't, but made the best of it all. So, like Mike Tyson says, everyone's got a game plan until you get punched in the face, right? So the idea with that means you think you know what's going on until you don't, and you're in the thick of things, and you're like, oh, this is actually harder than watching it on TV. So here's the controversial crew. These are some of the villains that were on her season and other seasons. And I'm going to play this with no audio. Do you even know who Dave Chappelle is? So obviously making fun, she didn't know. Weren't you engaged last week? So she, does a slam. Weren't you guys dating before Paradise? That's a funny one. And then she does that face, okay. And then smoke show is not a compliment. What would mine be? Subscribe to my channel. Just walk away. So some of them are funny. Obviously, the criticism of the Anna Redmond is that people weren't upset that she smiled like this. They were upset that she outed Brittany Galvin as a sex worker on national TV. But of course, Chris Conran and Alana really didn't do much wrong. Chris Conran obviously chose Alana after having dated, whatever. There's too many people. I can't even, my mind's going to blow up trying to remember it. It's too many names. Anyway, the point is they're like soft villains, I think all of them. Some people, whatever. Sorry, let's go to this one. I shared this. I'll read some of your comments. And I may be misreading her social media activity, but it feels like she is trying to convince people or still garner support. I think she would be better served accepting some people are going to dip and didn't like it. Listen, respectfully, like I said before, what got Katie on the show as the Bachelorette is her unapologetic, quote unquote, messy self. And that's the authentic self you're going to get. It's not like she got famous and then became controversial. She was posting her true, pooping her pants at a bank, bringing her, sex positive. She was doing all these things, being authentic to who she was, and she's going to continue to do that. And, sometimes you crack an egg to make an omelet. If it means she loses some followers, I think that's okay. I think it's okay to have a more loyal, smaller fan base. Not to say that she does. I think she still has more followers than a good portion of Bachelor Nation here. The last answer gave me Pilot Pete vibes. Longtime fan, not prepared to be the lead. Now I'm picturing them together, and wow, the mess that would ensue. Aunt Lindsay versus Barb would be a smackdown of epic proportions. That is true. Aunt Lindsay versus Barb is the gladiator fight we don't need. Katie honestly comes off as a very insecure person who cares way too much about what others think of her. She just needs to take a break from social media and live her life. It's not healthy to be worrying all day about what other people think. Well, here's where I disagree. People in the comment go, oh, too many Katie posts, and then every Katie post gets hundreds of comments. So if people don't want to hear from her and don't want to sip the tea of that drama and the mess, as it were, then stop rubbernecking. Rubbernecking is when you drive by an accident and go, wow, what happened there? Which, by the way, I love to rubberneck. It's like if I'm waiting half an hour in traffic, when it's my time to drive by the accident, I act like a forensic guy. I'm like, oh, look at the coefficient of the friction right there, the skid marks. It looks like he's at fault. All right, carry on. Progressive Insurance. All right, you know what I mean? Coefficient of friction. That's right, folks. I got high school physics teacher energy with green screen chemistry. All right. She didn't actually answer the first. Okay, so that's enough there. So what we have here is this. People have said, by the way, this I made this graphic today at 6 a.m. Thank you. And I could have typed in I could have made it look neat, but there's nothing neat about these relationships, right? So people have said, oh, if Katie liked Blake, why did she move to San Diego? That's like the most ignorant thing in the world, right? And I've addressed this plenty of times, but it's like Katie grew up in the Pacific Northwest, right? Which I'm sure is fun for some people, but when you're from a certain area, you get sick of it. Plenty of people grew up in New York, moved to LA. People grew up in SoCal, they moved to New York. There's just you kind of get tired of the local vibe. So she grew up in the Pacific Northwest. She moves to Santiago, and Blake lives in Hamilton, Ontario, which is in Canada. Okay, folks? So Blake's over here. If Blake were to fly to the Pacific Northwest, it would take roughly the same amount of time as if he were to fly to San Diego. Now, obviously, John Hersey lived in San Diego along with other members of Bachelor Nation, and I can understand Katie wanted to get out of her town, and where would she move to? That's a good place, a place where she has friends. Did she fly too close to the sun and becoming friends with a guy? Listen, here's what I have to say about this. If becoming friends with a guy is enough for you to break up with someone else, then you weren't that strong of a relationship in the first place. And maybe she needed to find that out. Maybe she needed to have other guy friends to realize what she was missing in Blake. And it doesn't mean Blake's not a great guy. It just means whatever bond they had wasn't strong enough to battle the long-distance relationship that they had. Now, we could look at the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but I think we all know what we're looking at right now. We are seeing a triangle that is very similar to what I like to call the triangle of toes, okay? Now, according to the triangle of toes, we have 45-degree angles that are equidistant from each other and match the curvature of Dale Moss's toes. Now, let me tell you something. You'd have to be pretty wild to put together a theorem like the curvature of toes, but you'd have to be actually bananas to try to overlap that onto the flight pattern of Katie and her ex and Katie and her new lover. But when you do such a thing, you realize, what am I doing? Listen, guys, sometimes I do a bit that's for me, and that one's all for me. That one's all for me. You know that Boyz II Men song, All For Me? It's about a guy who does it all for him. That's a solo laugh right there, so I hope I made your day, because I certainly am making mine. Go to patreon.com/Dave Neal if you want to listen to my unapologetic version of the conversation I had with Hannah Brown, how it went down, what I really think of her, which, spoiler alert, she is as good as it gets. I mean, not just Southern charm, but there's a reason why Hannah Brown was cast as the Bachelorette. I mean, she is a doll. I'll tell you all about that on the Patreon at noon today, Pacific Standard Time. If you want to sign up for that, it's patreon.com/Dave Neal. Costs you $5 a month. You can cancel anytime. All right. Do we get through all of this? I think we got through all of this. Let me know what you guys think. Cue the comments. I like Kate, but now I don't get it. Fine. Don't like her. I get it. I totally understand. People will be like, oh, Dave, you can't be on, you have a bias because you met Katie and you're friends with Katie. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Is the situation between her and John messy because she was engaged to Blake? Yeah, if you look at it as engagement being this thing, but it's engagement on the TV show is different. I just the more I watch it, the less I see it as these people are holier than thou. They're just people trying their best. She met a bunch of guys. She picked one. It didn't work out, and she went to another. The timeline of that, y'all are going to have in question, but don't forget to look at the facts here. I'm just kidding. All right, folks, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Go to the toy drive, link in the comments. Dave Neal Vlogs in the comments, too, to check out my day in the life conversation with Hannah Brown. All right, bye, everyone.